When you think of classic drum machines from the past, no doubt things like the 808, the 909, and the Lindrum immediately come to mind. But another great machine that deserves to be in that same conversation is the TR-606. And while it sometimes might get overshadowed by the almost mythical status of those other modules, the 606 is an outstanding drum machine in its own right. Now, unfortunately, the TR-606 is long out of production, and getting an original unit, it can be difficult and increasingly expensive. But there are alternatives on the market today, and that's what we are looking at right now. The Behringer RD-6. It's an 8-voice analog recreation of the 606, and it's in a modern and maybe more importantly, super affordable package. Now, this unit here, this was sent to me by Behringer for the review, and a big thanks to them for sending the RD-6 over so that I could make this video. But there's good news for you guys. I'm going to be paying it forward. One of you can win this drum machine. Just subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to post a giveaway video with more details, so make sure that you have notifications turned on so you don't miss it. Taking a quick look at what comes in the box, you get the RD-6 analog drum machine itself, and it's available in 10 different color variations. In this case, coming in the black coloration. The package also includes a power adapter, some paperwork, and of course your documentation. Now, in terms of build quality, the overall construction is made of a plastic material, and while I wouldn't want to drop it on a hardwood or a tile floor from 6 feet up in the air, I would say that it feels good, and for the price, I'm not at all disappointed with it. Likewise, all of the knobs, the buttons, and switches have a nice feel, and overall I think that it's way more than meets my expectations. Speaking of the price, this unit comes in between $129 and $159 in the United States based on color per the current retail price listings on the Sweetwater website. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this review and take a closer look at the drum machine, I think the most important tool in evaluating something like a drum machine is hearing it for yourself and hearing it in the context of a mix. So I threw together this short recording to see what it sounds like with some other sounds and instrumentation. Alright, so that was, just a quick demo of what the RD-6 sounds like, and of course it's far from a full song. But for the ambient style of music that I like doing, I think this drum machine sounds really great. And I could definitely see using it on a larger, more in-depth project in the future. In fact, I'm sort of having second thoughts on using this unit as a giveaway item, because it could definitely find a permanent home in my studio. So next up, let's have a quick listen to each of the 8 analog drum voices in complete isolation. You do this by using the instrument knob while in pattern write mode. We can move through the different sounds, each of which also has a volume level knob to mix that sound. First, we have the bass drum. Next, we have the snare drum. Then we have the low tom. And of course we have the high tom. Here we have the cymbal. And using the select switch, we can change this voice to a clap. Finally, we have the open hat and then the closed hat. There's also an accent position on the instrument dial and an accent volume knob to apply a global accent to any step within the pattern and dial in the intensity of the accent. Now, if we move over to pattern play mode, we can select which patterns we want to play, and we can chain multiple patterns together. Now, this comes in handy when we want to have a beat with more than 16 steps, for example. If we want to have a 32-step beat, just chain patterns 1 and 2 together. Next, in the upper right area, we have the distortion selection, and you can flip that switch to the on position and use the distortion. The tone and level knobs are used to dial in a light saturation all the way up to overdriven mayhem. Now, some of the other technical specs on this unit that I'd like to point out include the I/O. And on the back side of the unit, we have a USB port and we have 5-pin MIDI ports. There's a foot pedal start-stop input and the mono mix output. There's also 6 individual outputs for each drum voice, giving you plenty of routing options. And on the top of the unit, there are several sync and trigger ins and outs, as well as a headphone jack. Now, in terms of patterns and sequencing, as previously mentioned, each pattern can be 16 steps, and patterns can, of course, be chained together in series to create longer sequences. You also have 2 pattern groups, each group consisting of up to 16 individual patterns, so you have up to a total of 32 patterns. And in track mode, you can string together songs of up to 250 patterns in any order that you'd like. Now, you also have the scale function, which gives you the ability to do 30-second notes and triplets, and you can also set pattern lengths to something shorter than 16 steps if you want to. You do this by pressing and holding the function button while setting the last step while you're in write mode. I've got to say, I was surprised by this drum machine. I'd never really been dialed into or exposed to the 606 sound, so this was kind of my first time, and I really found myself digging into the sonic palette. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that I prefer it to some of those other classic drum machine tones. Those are great also, but I do really like the sound of this, and for some styles of music, I would definitely use this RD-6. Now, there's something else that actually really struck me, and it's that this is the first dedicated drum machine that I've used in years, like many, many years. The last time that I had a hardware drum machine with internal step sequencing was probably back in the early 2000s. It was actually the Korg Electribe ER1. Leave a comment down below if you remember that drum machine. Now, that was a pretty cool drum machine, but for me, the RD-6 blows it out of the water. I really prefer the snares and the cymbals on this at a minimum. And this RD-6 has kind of renewed my interest in dedicated drum machine modules. So I'm really looking forward to trying out some more. Alright guys, that'll wrap this one up. I hope you enjoyed checking out the Behringer RD-6 with me. Now, don't forget, I will be giving this unit away to a subscriber when we hit 1,000 total subscribers. And I have a couple hundred right now, so hopefully it won't take too long. But make sure that you are subbed to the channel and make sure that you have notifications turned on so you don't miss the official giveaway announcement video when I post it. Because if you don't see the video, then you won't know that you won, and I have no way of getting a hold of you. You're going to have to email me. So we'll take care of all of that once I hit the 1,000 subscribers and I do that announcement. In the meantime, I'm going to wrap this one up today, so take care and be well, and until the next one, bye now.